Hey guys, I'm back and I'm at a different location because it's summer, which means that my normal filming location doesn't work anymore because the sun is just too bright. I haven't really uploaded a video in a month, so I'm sorry for that, but school happened and life happened and I was uninspired. But now I'm back. So it's June now and June is Pride Month! Yay, Pride! I have gay vodka because that's the only pride flag thing I could find in my house. Woo! Pride! By the way, I do not promote underage drinking or drinking. Don't drink, guys, it's bad. Just have this for the flag, you know, it's not even open, you see. Because it's Pride Month, a lot of people talk openly about the gender or the sexuality, and a lot of labels can come up during this discussion or during these conversations. And there's different opinions on labels and if they're necessary or if they're not necessary, or how good they are, how effective they are. But some people decide to label themselves, others don't. But there are a lot of labels that do exist, and I don't think that the general public know what most of these labels mean. So I decided to just give you guys a little bit of a gender sexuality 101 and just tell you a little bit more about what the labels mean or the most frequently used labels mean. And yeah, obviously I'm not like a professional gender or sexuality expert, so if I make any mistakes in this video or these things that I'm saying are not true, please correct me, please call me out, because I always want to learn and improve, obviously. As I said, labels are things some people decide to use, others don't. If you like to label yourself, that's great. If you don't, that's fine as well. But these are just some labels that might come up in discussions about gender or sexuality that you might want to know what they usually mean for most people. All the information I found on here I learned on the internet, so obviously they could be wrong. As I said, call me out if they are. Okay, we're gonna get started with sexualities, and the three most frequently known sexualities basically are heterosexual, homosexual and bisexual, and these are the ones that most people know. So homosexual just means you're attracted to people of the same gender. Then there's heterosexual, which basically just means that you like people of the opposite gender. Then there's bisexual, which just means you like both boys and girls. You can be asexual, and here's where we have to differentiate between sexual and romantic, because you can be asexual, which means that you don't have any desires to do something sexual with anyone ever, basically, or very little desire to do sexual things, but you can still be, for example, heteroromantic, which means you can experience romantic feelings for someone of the opposite gender, but you just don't like to be sexually active with someone. Then there's pansexual, which means you can be attracted to anyone, whatever gender they are, whatever they identify as. If you like someone, you like them, and for you it doesn't matter if they're a boy, a girl, or something in between. Then there's demisexual, which is a very common sexuality actually, which a lot of people don't even know that it has a name. And if you're demisexual, you only have sexual desire to do things or sexual things with someone if you also have an emotional connection and a romantic connection. So demisexual people wouldn't be going out having a one-night stand with a stranger, for example, just because that's not what they want to do in their life. Then there's gray sexual, and gray sexual has so many different meanings for everyone that I've come across that identifies as gray sexual. For some people it means that they don't have a lot of sexual desires. For other people it means different things. Gray sexual is a word that I can't fully define because it means something different for anyone that I've ever met that identifies as gray sexual, so I can't fully tell you what exactly it means. Now we're moving on to gender, and the first gender that we have is cisgender. If you're a cisgender female, you were born as a girl and you identify as a girl, and you identify basically for cisgender, you identify as the gender you were born. If you're transgender, you identify as the opposite gender. Fun fact, some trans people get surgery, some people don't, and that's fine. So there's actually men with vaginas and women with penises out there, and that is perfectly okay. Then there's agender people, which identify like nowhere in the gender spectrum, or they just don't see themselves as having a gender or things like that. Then if you're bigender, you can identify, I think you identify as both a man and a woman in the same body, and then you can also be gender fluid, which means you identify as both man and a woman. But some days you might have more of a man day, some days you might have more of a girl day, you know. All of these things are totally possible within the gender spectrum. I think gender labels are a lot more complicated than sexuality labels because there's so many gender identities that are really similar but have different names. So I think gender is a very interesting thing, and I think it's very hard to really label. Also, if you're a person who doesn't really believe in people like identifying as the gender they identify as, and you think, you know, oh, everyone has to be the gender they were born as, so there's only men and women, then first of all, I'm low-key judging you, or actually I'm high-key judging you. I really am. Also, there's intersex people who are born with sexual organs of both the male and the female kind. So there are people out there who are actually born between genders, who are not just straightly female or male. That is very valid, and so I think gender identity is something that many people make fun of, and they're like, well, why is he trying to be a girl or something? When really gender is something very, very personal, and everyone should have the right to identify as what they are. Also, when we're at the topic of gender, let's just quickly talk about pronouns. There's different pronouns like she or hers and he and his, and many people who identify not just as cisgender might want to use different pronouns like they or them. And please use people's preferred pronouns, because for you they're called preferred pronouns, but for them they are the pronouns that they have. Like, for example, I've been misgendered in my life. When I had short hair, I was often misgendered in restaurants or something, and that's actually really fucking horrible. Like, it's the worst ever to be misgendered. And if you're misgendered all your life, and then maybe you're transgender, for example, and then you just change your gender identity and people still continue to misgender you, that's a fucking asshole move. And if you do that, then that's not good. So don't do that. Don't misgender people, especially not on purpose. If you do it on accident, it happens, apologize. But if you did it on purpose, then no, I have no words for that. That's fucking disgusting. Okay, that was my little gender and sexuality 101. As I said, if there were any mistakes in this video, or you know more things about different sexualities or genders, please tell me in the comments down below, because I always want to learn. I always want to learn new things and improve my knowledge. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great Pride Month and you celebrate who you are, because you're amazing. And I'll see you guys next Monday, hopefully. Maybe not, but probably. Bye.